We will start the session in 1 or 2 minutes. Yeah, we will start the session in 1 or 2 minutes. I did a recording for this session. So you have to watch this recording very carefully. And once we will complete this recording, after that, I will be taking your doubts, right? So in detail, I have discussed each and every question. So watch this recording very carefully, right? And everything I have discussed in detail. But still, if you will face any problem, I will definitely resolve your problem, right? Give me a moment. Each and every question of financial reporting. Yeah. So now one by one, what I will be doing, guys, I will be discussing each and every question of financial reporting module, right? Now, if you see what question number first says, if the owner's capital is 50,000, liability is 30,000 and fixed asset is 70,000, right? What is the value of current asset? What this question is asking, that owner contribution is how much? Owner contribution is 50,000, liability is 30,000 and asset is 70,000, right? So you might be knowing about the accounting equation, or you might be how to prepare a balance sheet, right? In balance sheet, what we do, we record liability and capital in one side and we record asset in one side, right? So if I prepare the format of balance sheet in terms of accounting equation, so liability plus capital is going to be equal to of assets, right? So what is the capital amount here? Capital amount is 50,000, right? And what is the total amount of liability? Total amount of liability is 30,000. What is the value of asset? Asset value is 70,000, right? Now what this question is saying here, this is fixed asset, right? This is fixed asset. Asset includes current asset and fixed assets both, right? Asset includes current asset and fixed asset both. Now question is asking that what is going to be the value of asset? So here total is 80,000. If you do the total of liability and capital side, so 80,000. But if you do the total of asset, it is 70,000, right? So the difference of 10,000 is going to be your current assets, right? Difference of 10,000 is the amount of current asset, right? Now, if you see the next question, what next question says, which of the following is correct, right? Here, which of the following is correct, right? So again, we have to use the accounting equation. Current asset fixed asset plus current liability plus long-term liability. No, right? It is not correct, right? Liability plus capital is correct, right? So here, what this question is saying, you have to find out owner equity, right? So asset minus liability can be correct here. If I twist this accounting equation, so we can shift liability this side, right? So liability is in plus, so it will, if we are shifting this liability in right hand side, so it will become negative. So asset minus capital is okay, right? If you see the next point, that is as current assets plus fixed assets minus, so this equation is correct, right? Asset minus capital, sorry, asset minus liability. This equation is correct, right? Asset minus liability, this equation is correct. So here correct is going to be current asset plus fixed asset is going to be total assets, right? Then minus current liability plus long-term liability is going to be minus total liability, right? So here you will get the amount of capital, right? This is how we will calculate the, this is how we will find out the equation and owner's equity, right? Next question is, if you see, an amount of 30,000 spent on traveling expense of the company director to a foreign trip for a purchase of asset to be used in the production process. This is a capital expenditure, revenue expenditure, deferred revenue expenditure, none of the above, right? Now, what is the difference between capital and revenue expenditure, right? First, I will be explaining you this concept. I have already discussed, but for your understanding, I will revise it. There are two types of expenses, right, which you will be incurring for the business. One is going to be capital expenditure, right? And second is going to be revenue expenditure, right? Now, what is the difference between capital expenditure and revenue expenditure? Capital expenditure means recurring expenditure, right? Capital expenditure means recurring expenditure, right? Recurring expenditure means expenses, I'm sorry. Revenue expenditure means recurring expenses. Revenue expenses means recurring expenses, right? Expenses which will recur or incurred regularly for the business, right? अब इसके examples क्या हो सकते हैं? If you are buying raw material, right? Raw material regular expense. If you are paying salary, or if you are paying electricity expenses, right? Or blah 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 regular expenses, that is a recurring expenditure. But if I talk about capital expenditure, these expenditures are non-recurring expenditure, right? So let's suppose if you are buying land for business, right? Or if you are buying building for business, right? Or if you are buying any other kind of fixed assets for the business, that is going to be a non-recurring expenditure, right? So I took the example also, right? Now here, if director traveled outside India, right, and he spent 30,000 towards travel, right? Why he went outside India? To purchase an asset, right? To purchase an asset. So do you feel this traveling expense should be considered as a revenue expenditure? No, it should be considered as a capital expenditure. What should be considered as a capital expenditure? You know what companies do? Whenever companies, they buy machinery from foreign country, right? Whenever companies they buy machinery for from foreign countries, right? Let's suppose a company is buying this machinery, right? Company is buying this machinery at 10 crore rupees, right? And this vendor is located in US, right? Our company is located in India, right? Now, before company will buy this machinery, what company will do? Company will do the PDI of this machinery. What is PDI? Pre-delivery inspection. Right? So what Indian company will be doing? Indian company will be sending an engineer, right? Indian company will be sending an engineer who will review this machinery, right? Who will review this machinery and he will check whether this machinery is working properly or not. Right? Why he will review the machinery? Because the transportation cost of machinery is very high, right? To bring machine from US to India, it will a company has to pay something around 1 crore rupees for the transportation cost, right? So what company has done? Company sent their employee, right? Company sent their employee and they have incurred 30,000 for the travel of this employee, right? 30,000 towards the travel of this employee, right? So do you feel that this should be capitalized? This cost should be added into the cost of machinery? Definitely. This cost should be added into the cost of machinery, right? Whenever you buy machinery and whatever expenses you incur, right? Whenever you buy machinery and whatever expenses you incur before installation of that machinery, right? All those expenses will be capitalized. There is a law कि आप जो asset buy कर रहे हो ना, उस asset को buy करने के लिए आपको transportation charges pay करने पड़ते हैं, right? आपको installation charges pay करने पड़ सकते हैं, आपको labor charges pay करने पड़ते हैं जो अनलोडिंग एंड अपलोडिंग करेंगे किसकी मशीनरी की ट्रक वगैरह में. सो वो सारे खर्चे आपको कैपिटलाइज करने के. सो वट एवर एक्सपेंसेस आर इंकर्ड till installation of machinery or before installation of machinery, that is to be capitalized, right? So this expenditure you are incurring before installation of machinery, right? This is going to be capitalized, pakke se, right? This expenditure will be capitalized, right? Now if you see a machinery was purchased for 10,000 and 5,000 paid as a wages for erection of machinery, the account should be debited. I have discussed this concept right now, right? Till installation, whatever expenses you will incur, right? All those expenses, what you have to do, you have to capitalize, right? So how you will capitalize? When you will add this cost into the machinery account, right? When you will add this cost in machinery account. So here, what this question is saying, that account should be debited. What this question says, that account should be debited, right? So obviously machine account should be debited, right? So you are capitalizing this 500 rupees cost, right? So when you will prepare the balance sheet, in balance sheet, what you will do, you will record a machinery, right, at 10,500 rupees, right? You will record this machinery at 10,500 rupees, right? This is what a capitalization of machinery, right? Now jump to fifth question. A truck was purchased and after some time, the name of company was painted for advertisement purpose for rupees 1,000, right? Now, what if company is incurring some advertisement, company is doing some painting work on truck for the advertisement purpose, right? Now, according to you, which cost should be capitalized, right? We have discussed the definition of fixed asset or capital assets, right? Capital asset means assets which help in generating the profit for the business, right? So right now I'm using, let's suppose, one laptop for my business, right? And let's suppose the turnover of my company is 150 lakh rupees, right? Now what I will be doing, I will be buying one laptop. Now you just let me know what is the reason why I will be buying the one laptop. If I'm getting more clients, right? So definitely what I will do, I will buy one more laptop, right? So obviously it will increase the revenue of business, right? And if revenue will increase, so my profit will also increase, right? So I'm having two laptops. So there could be chances that my revenue will increase by 50 lakh rupees, right? And these assets can be used for more than 1 year, right? That is what a definition of capital asset, right? Life of asset is going to be greater than 1 year. Are you able to understand? So here, if you're doing painting work on trucks, right, that is not a capital expenditure, right? So that should be transferred into the P&L account, right? Capital expenditure we transfer into the balance sheet, and revenue expenditure we will be transferring into the P&L account, right? Further, if you see question number 6, Original cost of machinery is like 26,000 and salvage value is 6,000. Life of asset is 6 years and annual depreciation under SLM is, we have to find out annual depreciation under SLM, right? What is going to be the annual depreciation, right? I will be discussing about deferred revenue. Wait for some time. Definitely, I will be discussing about deferred revenue. So if you see original cost of machinery is how much? It is 1,60,000. Right here, original cost of machinery is how much? Original cost of machinery is 1,26,000. Right, this is the original cost. Right, and salvage value is 6,000. Right, and life of machinery is given, that is 6 years. You will be able to use this machinery for 6 years. Right. Now we have seen there are two methods of depreciation. Right, there are two methods of depreciation. First is WDV, right, and second method is SLM. There are two methods of depreciation, SLM and WDV. Right. Now SLM means where you will be charging same amount of depreciation every year. Right. And what is the formula for SLM? It is total cost minus scrap value divided by number of years. Right, divided by number of years. Right. So here we have to use SLM method to find out the depreciation. What we have to do, we have to use the SLM method to find out the depreciation. Right? Give me a moment, I'm getting a call. Guys, if you see here, so what is the original cost of machinery? Original cost of machinery is 1,26,000 and what amount of salvage value? It is 6,000 and divided by number of years. So here, what is going to be depreciation amount? Depreciation amount is going to be 20,000. Right? So this is going to be the correct answer. Here I have given this sheet with you. Right? Don't worry. Then if you see question number 7, original cost of an asset is 2,52,000 and salvage value is 12,000. Right? Depreciation for second at the rate of 10% under WDV method will be. What is going to be the depreciation for second year, right? Now, they are asking you to solve the question by using WDV method. Now, what is going to be the formula for WDV method? Formula for WDV method is going to be carrying amount or original cost into rate of depreciation. This is going to be the formula, right? What I will do, I will solve this question in Excel so you will be getting more clarity. So give me a moment. I will copy this question in Excel and we will do it in Excel itself, right? So you will be getting more idea that how to solve this question. Give me a moment. So I will be copying this question here. Yeah, this question says the original cost of asset is 2,50,000, 2,52,000. So write down the original cost. Original cost is 2,52,000, right? Then if you see salvage value amount is 12,000, right? Then depreciation rate is given, that is 10%, right? Depreciation rate is 10%. Are you able to understand? Now, in this case, you know, in case of WDV method, there will be no use of salvage value, right? In case of WDV method, there will be no use of salvage value, right? There will be no use of salvage value. Why there will be no use of salvage value? Because if you read the formula, you will be getting more clarity here. What is the formula? Original cost into depreciation or carrying value into depreciation, right? This is the formula. Where we are adjusting, we won't be reducing salvage value. In WDV method, there will be no use of salvage value, but in case of SLM method, there will be use of salvage value, right? So this is what the difference between these two formulas, right? Use of salvage value. Hopefully you are able to understand, right? Now, what is the formula? Here written the formula. What I will be doing, I will be writing down here year, right? First I will be writing the year, then I will be writing down the here carrying value, right? So here if I write down 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? I'm taking 5 years here, right? What is the original cost of asset? Original cost of asset is 52,000. It is 2,52,000. What amount of depreciation we have to charge? Depreciation is going to be 10%, right? So at the year end, what is going to be the value depreciation? It is going to be equal to 2,52,000 into 10%. Right? This is going to be the amount of depreciation. Now, what is going to be the carrying value? Carrying value is going to be 2,52,000 minus depreciation. Right? Carrying value means value which you will be showing into the balance sheet, right, after charging depreciation. Right? After charging depreciation, and this amount you will be transferring to the P&L account. Right? This amount you will transfer into the P&L account. Right? Now, if I about depreciation, what depreciation you will charge for next year? So next year you will be charging the depreciation on carrying value. That's 2,26,800, and it is going to be 10%. So this much depreciation you will be charging for second year, right? So what is going to be the carrying value for second year? It is going to be open value minus carrying value. So this is going to be the carrying value for second year. And this is how we have to calculate the depreciation and carrying value, right? So here, what is going to be the depreciation for second year? Depreciation for second year is going to be 2,22,680, right? This is going to be the amount of depreciation, right? And here you see the same amount of depreciation we have given here, right? So this is going to be the amount of depreciation. Hopefully you understood the concept, right? Now we will see the question from word file. Yeah. Now we have discussed question number 7. Now, amortization refers to written off. Now, we use depreciation and amortization at same time, right? Now, if I talk about depreciation, so depreciation is used, this term is used for tangible assets, right? And amortization is used for intangible assets, right? Amortization is used for intangible assets, right? This is what a difference between depreciation and amortization, right? So amortization is going to be used for intangible assets, right? It will be used for intangible assets, right? Hopefully you understood this concept. Now, if I talk about question number 9, the WDV of an asset after 3 years of depreciation on reducing balance method is 10%. At the rate 10% is 36,450. What is the original value? Now, this question we have to do in Excel, right? I know most of you have faced problem in this question, right? So I will be doing this into Excel, so you should get the clarity about this question, right? Give me a moment. I will copy this question. Yeah. Yeah, I've copied this question in Excel. Now, what this question says, the WDV of an asset after 3 years of depreciation on reducing balance method at the rate 10% is 36,450. What is the original value, right? We have to find out the original value. Now, what I will do, I will copy this data, right? So you will be getting more clarity, right? Now, if you see what question says, right, I will delete this value. This question says that after 3 years, company follows WDV method, right? Here clearly will written that reducing balance method. Reducing balance method itself means WDV method, right? Reducing balance method means WDV method. Alternative name of WDV method is reducing balance method, right? What question says, after 3 years, right? After 3 years of depreciation on reducing balance method at the rate of 10%, right? The WDV of asset is 36,450, right? It is 36,450, right? Carrying value of asset after 3 years is 36,450, right? Now, what question is saying, you have to find out the original value. You have to find out the original value, that what is going to be the original value of asset, right? Now, if I say that the carrying value of asset is 1,83,708, and you have to find out the original value. How you will find out the original value? Simply you have to add this depreciation, right? You have to add this depreciation and you will reach to original value, right? You have to add these two depreciation values, right? You have to add these 3 depreciation values and you will get the answer, right? If you see here, if I add these 3 depreciation value, is original cost, carrying cost plus depreciation of previous 3 years. So we will see whether we are getting 2,50,000 or not. So we got this value, that is 2,52,000. Right, we got this value. So first, what we have to do, we have to find out the depreciation which has been charged for 3 years. Right, we have to find out the depreciation which has been charged for 3 years. Right, or otherwise, what we can do, we can find out these values by step by step. Right. Now, if you see here, I'm taking an example. I will take very simple value for you, so you should get the better clarity. Right. Here, 1, 2, 3. I have written the years here. Right, I have written the year. Right. Now I'm writing down here carrying amount, right? I'm writing down here carrying amount, and here I'm writing down depreciation value, right? Now, if you see, let's suppose carrying amount of asset is 100 rupees. Right? Carrying amount of asset is how much? It is 100 rupees, right? Now, instead of calculating depreciation, what I can do, I can directly take the 90% of 100 rupees, right? And I will get the value. If I take the 90% of 100 rupees, so I will get the carrying amount for each year, right? I will get the carrying amount for each year, right? I will simply take the 90%. Or otherwise, there is another process, right? You can follow the another process. Otherwise, what you can do here, carrying amount is 100 rupees. You can calculate the depreciation for each year. So 100 ka 10% is going to be 10 rupees. So what is going to be the carrying value? It will be 100 minus 10. So it is going to be 90 here, right? Again, you will take 10% of 90. It is going to be 9. And what is going to be the carrying value? Carrying value is going to be 81. And similarly, you can copy these two values and you can paste it here. So you will be getting the carrying amount and depreciation, right? Otherwise, directly you can take the 90%, right? Now here, let's suppose here we have calculated 72.9 rupees, right? You know that the third year amount is 72.9 rupees, right? Now, if I delete these values, and here if I write down 72 point, which is the carrying amount for third year. Now, if I ask you to calculate the original cost. So when we have calculated the carrying amount, we have multiplied this with 90%. So every year our asset value will reduce by 10%, right? Now, if I want move in a reverse direction, right? So पहले हमने मल्टीप्लाई किया, अब हम लोग क्या कर सकते हैं, इसको डिवाइड करके ना रिवर्स मेथड पे जा सकते हैं. जब नॉर्मल मेथड पे जा रहे हैं, so we have multiplied this with 90%. So every year the value of asset was reducing by 10%. Now here we will follow the reverse method. We will divide this by 10%. Right? We will divide this by 90%. Right? We will divide this by 9%. Right? So automatically it will get converted into 100%. Right? So अगर आप यहाँ पे देखोगे, so ये 81 बन जाएगा. Right? Now we are converting 72.9 into 100%. Right? It is 90%, and now this one is 100%. Now again, for subsequent year, 81 is going to be 90%, and if I have convert this into 100%, so what I will be doing, I will be dividing this with 90%, right? And every time I divide this with 90%, and I will get the answer here, right? Otherwise, what you can do, you can use this formula, right? That is 30,450. Here I have used this for 100 rupees value, but I can do this for this 36,450. So I will divide this by 90%, right? So I get the value for second year, then I will get the value for first year, and then I will get the value for starting of the year, right? When we have acquired the asset, right? Otherwise, what you can do, you can divide 36,450 divided by 0.90, that is 90%, and raise to the power 3, and you will get the same answer, right? So this is how we have to calculate the value, right? Hopefully you understood this concept. I will apply above formula, you will be getting more clarity. So it is going to be 36,450 divided by 90%, right? And I can take raised to the power 3 here, right? Because 3 times we have divided this with 90%, and here we will get the same answer, right? So this is how we have to solve the 9th question. Now we will jump to the next question. Hopefully able to understand, right? Now, if I talk about 10th question, what 10th question says, value of asset means amount that can be fetched on sale at the dash of its useful life, beginning and middle none. Scrap value is used at the end of the life, right? जब वो बंगाल हो जाएगा, जब उसको मार्केट में बेचोगे, this is what is scrap value, right? Hopefully you are able to understand, right? That is what a scrap value, right? Chalo. So now we will jump to the next question. Depreciation starts from the date, right? It is purchased, it is put to use, it is installed. Here answer is going to be any of the above, right? Here answer is going to be any of the above. You know, many of you might be thinking that, sir, answer be put to use, right? Put to use is used for income tax, right? But for accounting, we can start depreciation for any of the date, right? When it is purchased, or when it is put to use, or when it is installed, right? So there is no such this requirement, right? In case of accounting, right? Now, if we jump to the next point, goodwill is current asset, intangible asset, obviously, we need of discussing it. Stock is a category of fixed asset, investment, current asset, obviously current asset, right? Stock is a current asset, right? Why we are discussing this. Now, if you see from the following, ascertain the gross profit, right? Opening stock is given here, then goods of purchase, good purchase is given, right? Then freight and packing is given, then closing stock is given, right? Then sales is given here, and then selling expenses on sales is given, right? So what is going to be the formula of gross profit? For gross profit is going to be sales minus COGS, right? This is going to be the formula. What is going to be the formula of gross profit? It is going to be sales minus COGS, right? Now, what's COGS? What is the formula of COGS? Formula of COGS is opening stock plus purchases plus direct expenses, right? It includes manufacturing expenses minus closing stock, right? It won't be including selling expenses on sales, right? So here, what is opening stock? Opening stock is 25,000. During the year, company has purchased goods of 1,30,000. Then if you see freight and packing on above, it is a direct expense, है ना? Freight और packing, goods को supply करने के लिए factory से अपनी company में, तो उसको packing लगती है. आपने कभी टू व्हीलर ट्रांसपोर्ट किया है क्या ट्रेन से? हाँ, so उसमें ना पहले पैकिंग होती है ना टू व्हीलर की. So you know when I was leaving Delhi at that time, what I have done, I have decided that I will bring that wheeler which I have purchased in the Delhi to Madhya Pradesh, right? So what I have done, I went to the Delhi railway station, right? I paid 3,000 rupees. So what that transporter guy has done, he has packed my bag and he has उसने क्या किया, ट्रेन में उसको रखवा दिया था, right? Then I have received my bag. So that 3,000 is going to be this direct expense, right? Is it clear? Depreciation, Mangesh, depreciation in case of accounting can be started from any duration, right? Depreciation can be started from any duration. Income tax we use put to use, right? So correct answer is any of the above. Yeah. So here direct expense is 5,000. We don't have to consider 9,000 rupees. 9,000 we will ignore, right? So what is the formula? Opening stock plus purchase plus direct expense minus closing stock, right? And here you will get the COGS, that is 1,48,000 rupees, right? And what is the sales amount? Sales amount is given 1,90,000, right? So 1,90,000 minus 1,45,000 if you will do, so you will get the answer 45,000 rupees, right? That is the answer, right? And obviously this is going to be your gross profit, right? Now jump to the next question. If sales revenue is 4 lakh and cost of goods sold is 10,000 and operating expense are of rupees 60,000, we have to blindly take 10,000 rupees, right? We have to blindly take 3,10,000 rupees. We don't have to consider operating expenses, right? So what is going to be the gross profit? Gross profit is going to be 90,000. Gross profit is going to be 90,000. Now capital is the difference between income and expenses and cost of goods sold or assets and liability. Capital, it's a part of balance sheet. Obviously, asset and liability is going to be the correct answer, right? Then prepaid rent is shown. Prepaid rent, you have paid advance rent. That isn't correct asset, right? There is no use of asking question for this concept, right? Now, if you see the next question is quite important. A company wishes to earn 20% profit margin on selling, right? And dash is the profit markup on the cost, which will achieve the required profit margin, right? Now, what this question says, listen to me very carefully, you will be able to understand each and everything, right? Question says company wishes to earn 20% profit margin on selling price, right? Company wants to profit margin that is going to be 20% on selling price, right? That is going to be 20% on selling price, right? So now question is saying what dash is the profit markup on cost, right? You have to find out profit markup on cost. If company wants to charge profit margin that is 20% of sales, 20% on sales. So how profit company will be earning on cost, right? We have to find out the percentage of profit on cost, right? 20% profit margin is on sales. So how much profit company will be earning on cost, right? That we have to find out, right? Now, let's suppose we are assuming here, just listen to me very carefully. I'm taking this assumption first. Let's suppose sales of company is 100, right? Let's suppose sales of company is 100, right? So this is the selling price and company wants to 20% profit margin. So how much profit company will earn if sales is 100? So 20% on sales, that is going to be how much? That is going to be 20 rupees, right? That is going to be 20 rupees. So what is going to be the cost? Sales minus profit is going to be the cost, that is 80 rupees. Sale minus profit is going to be the cost, that is 80 rupees here, right? Now 80 rupees a cost, right? Now if I want to find out that what percentage of profit company will earn on cost, like is it possible to find out that what percentage of profit company will earn cost, right? So if you see 20 rupees is the profit and cost is 80 rupees, right? So here how company is calculated 80% profit divided by sales if you will do, so you will get the 20% profit, right? Divided by sales. So profit is how much? It is 20 and sales is how much? It is 100, right? So you will get 0.20, that is equivalent to 20%, right? That is equivalent to 20%. Similarly, if I want to find profit percentage on cost, so I will use the same formula. And instead of sales, what I will do, I will take cost now, right? I will take cost here. So profit divided by cost, if I do, so profit is how much? It is 20 and cost is 80, right? So 80 divided by 20, if you will do, so here you will get 0.25, right? That is 25%, right? That is 25%, right? Or there is another method, right? There is another method. What's the other method? Now this is quite not a professional method, right? But still you can find out the answer and it is quite easier, right? If I talk sales, so there are 5 alphabets in sales, right? If you see SALES, there are 5 alphabets, right? If I talk about cost, there are only 4 alphabets, right? There are only 4 alphabets, right? How much profit company wants to make in case of selling price? It is 20%, right? Now I can write like this: 20 divided by 100, right? And if I short this number, so it is going to be 1 divided by 5, right? 20 divided by 100, it is going to be 1 divided by 5. Now there are 5 alphabets and there are 4 alphabets in the cost, right? Which cost alphabets are lesser than sales, right? Cost alphabets are lesser than sales, right? By what number of alphabet? By 1 alphabet, right? Cost alphabet is lesser than sales by 1 alphabet, right? So here 1 by 5th is given. What I will do, I will take 1 by 4th here, right? I will take 1 by 4th here, right? That is 5 में से हम 1 minus कर देंगे. So it is going to be 1 by 4. And if I convert this 1 by 4th into percentage, so 1/4 is obviously going to be 25%, right? So I have discussed 2 methods, right? And I think you understood both the methods. Now here's 19 question is given. In the books of manufacturing concern, opening stock consists of, right, raw material, work in progress, finished goods. So opening stock includes a thing, right? There is accounting standard tool which says inventory includes raw material, work in progress, and finished goods, right? So it will include all 3 items, right? Now here, if you see, they are asking you to calculate cost of goods sold, right? Opening stock is given, purchase is given, direct expense is given, closing stock is given. So we have to use formula, right? Here, I think I have given the solution. Yeah. Simply, you have to use the previous formula. What is the formula? Formula is opening stock. What is the formula? Formula is opening stock plus purchase plus direct expense minus closing stock. This is the formula, right? So opening stock plus purchase plus direct expense minus closing stock you have to do, right? So you will get the answer, and what is going to be the answer? 19,500, right? This is the correct answer, right? Now we have done the 20 questions till now. I will open up another sheet and quickly we will do the next 20 questions, right? Now next 20 questions, they won't be taking much time, right? Because first 20 questions were their questions, right? So in 10-15 minutes, we will be able to do next lengthier questions. Yeah, hopefully this is visible to you all. So first question is, you have to calculate the gross profit. We have already discussed such kind of questions, right? You have to calculate the average capital. So opening capital is given 5 lakh, right? Here you have to calculate the average capital, right? Now, if you see opening capital is given 5 lakh and during the year company has made profit of 1 lakh rupees, right? If you will prepare the balance sheet here, right? Here, if we prepare the balance sheet, in balance sheet, 2 years data is given. Right, 2 years data is given, right? First is 2022 and second is 2023, right? Here capital value is given, right? In balance sheet, capital value is given, that is 5 lakh rupees. Now this 5 lakh rupees will become opening capital for year 2023, yes or no? This 5 lakh rupees will become opening capital for year 2023, right? This will become opening capital, right? So opening capital for 2023 is 5 lakh rupees, and during the year company has made profit of 1 lakh rupees, right? So that should be added, right? That should be added. So here you will add 1 lakh rupees profit, right? So what is going to be the closing capital, closing equity shareholders fund? It is going to be 6 lakh, right? It is going to be how much? It is going to be 6 lakh. So opening capital is 5 lakh and closing capital is 6 lakh. And you have to find out the average capital. So average capital is going to be how much? It is going to be 5 lakh plus 6 lakh, right, divided by 2, right? So it is going to be how much? It is going to be 5,50,000, right? This is going to be the average capital, right? Hopefully you understood the concept, right? Now question number 3, we will see. On 31st March 2009, Ram has loan of rupees 50,000, right? And trade creditor of rupees 80,000. Here I will write down. Ram has loan of rupees 50,000 and trade creditors were of rupees 80,000, right? Fixed assets of rupees 70,000, right? And stock of rupees 90,000. stock of rupees 90,000, right? And cash in hand is given 60,000. Cash in hand is given 60,000. If we started business on 1st April 2008 with a capital of 50,000, capital is given. How much capital is given? 50,000, right? So we have to find out the profit which has been earned by the RAM, right? Which has been earned by the RAM, right? So if you see here, what profit RAM has earned, simply what you have to do, again, you have to use the accounting equation, right? Which accounting equation you have to use? There is only one accounting equation, that is asset equal to capital plus liability. With this equation, you will be able to find out the profit, right? So now first we will do the total liability, total of liability. So liability will include loan and trade creditors, right? And if you see 50,000 plus 80,000, that is going to be 1,30,000, right? Total asset will include fixed assets, stock, cash in hand. So here 72,000 plus 92,000, 90,000 plus 60,000 is 2,22,000 is the value of total asset. Total liability is given, total asset is given. Then capital value is given 50,000. So how you will compute the profit? If you want to compute the profit, first you can create the accounting equation, right? So asset value is how much? Asset value is 2,22,000, right? Capital value is 50,000 plus liability value is 1,00,000, right? So it should be equal, right? It should be equal. So asset value is 2,22,000. Right here, liability value is 1,80,000, right? If you find out the difference, that is to be the profit, right? So 2,22,000 minus 1,80,000, that is going to be how much? It is going to be 42,000, and this amount is your profit, right? This amount is your profit. Now, further, if we see the question, the fixed asset of company is double of current asset, right? Quickly, we will do this question. The fixed asset of company is double of current asset, right? So fixed asset of company is double of current asset, right? That is 2 into current asset, right? And half of capital. Fixed asset is equal to half of capital, right? If the current assets are 3 lakh and investment is of 4 lakh, calculate the current liability assuming that there are no other items in the balance sheet, right? So half of capital. So what we can do, we can find out the fixed asset value. What is going to be fixed asset value here? Fixed asset is going to be 2 into current asset value is 3 lakh, right? So that is what is going to be fixed asset value here? Fixed asset is going to be 2 into current asset value is 3 lakh, right? So that is going to be 6 lakh rupees, right? The total value of fixed asset is going to be how much? It is going to be 4 lakh rupees, right? Sorry, 6 lakh rupees, right? Now, if you fix asset is half of capital, right? So what is going to be the value of capital? If you want to calculate capital, if fixed asset is half of capital, it shows that capital is double of fixed asset, right? Capital is double of fixed asset. कैसे आएगा double of fixed asset? अगर fixed asset half of capital है, इसको अगर मैं shift कर दूं, तो ये क्या हो जाएगा? Fixed asset into 2/1 is equal to capital, right? So fixed asset is 6 lakh. So what is going to be the amount of capital? It is going to be 2 into 6 lakh. That is going to be 12 lakh rupees, right? It is going to be 12 lakh rupees, right? Capital is 12 lakh. And investment amount is given how much? Investment amount is given 4 lakh rupees. Investment amount is given here 4 lakh rupees, right? Again, we will use the accounting equation. So capital plus liability. Liability is not given in the question, right? Have to find out the liability value, right? You have to find out the liability value. And here investment value is how much? 4 lakh, and fixed asset value is 6 lakh, right? Fixed asset value is 6 lakh. What is going to be the value of current liability, right? So, एक सेकंड देखते हैं यहाँ पे क्या किया है मैंने. हाँ, कैपिटल 12 लाख लिया मैंने. अच्छा, current asset is given. I'm sorry. हाँ, so capital plus liability is going to be the capital plus liability should be equal to the assets, right? So capital is given in the question, that is 12 lakh. Capital is given in the question, that is 12 lakh. Current liability is in the question, right? And what is the total value of asset? Inventory investment is of 4 lakh rupees. Fixed asset is given, that is 6 lakh rupees, and current asset value is how much? current asset value is 3 rupees, right? So what is going to be the total value of asset? What is going to be the total value of asset? Total value of asset is going to be 13 lakh rupees, right? Total value of asset is going to be 13 lakh. So here total value of asset is 13 lakh rupees, right? Which include current assets, inventory, and fixed assets, right? So the balancing figure obviously is going to be the current liability. So current liability is going to be here 13 lakh minus 12 lakh, it is going to be 1 lakh rupees. I think it is clear to you all. It is going to be 1 lakh rupees. Here I gave you the solution. You can refer this solution, right? Then question number 6, you can try it. It is easy. There is no such problem in question number 6, right? Working capital means current asset minus current liability, obviously, right? Then gross profit margin, similar question they are asking you to solve, which we have done. Gross profit, how to calculate gross profit, right? Then here we can do this question, right? At the end of financial 2011-12, the gross profit of RAM business is 2,30,000, right? The gross profit of RAM business is how much? It is 2,30,000, right? This is the gross profit. It is 2,30,000 rupees, right? And carriage inward is 15,000. Carriage inward is given here 15,000, and RAM's personal expense is given 75,000, right? What is the RAM personal expense? It is 75,000, and carriage outward is given is 17,500, right? Bad debt for the year were 12,000. Bad debt for the year were 12,000. Now you have to calculate the net profit earned by RAM for what is going to be the net profit, right? So gross profit is given how much? Gross profit is given 2,30,000. Now if I want to calculate net profit, so I will reduce indirect expenses, right? So do you feel that carriage inward should be a part of this indirect expense? No, carriage inward here, carriage inward is given 15,000. It is a direct expense, right? So वो gross profit में से already adjust हुआ होगा, right? हमने देखा था ना COGS कैसे calculate करते हैं, उसमें direct expenses include करते हैं. So it is a direct expense, right? Then personal expense, we don't include personal expense just because of entity concept, right? What entity concept says that you can't record personal expenses into the books of business. Carriage outward is an indirect expense that you will be including, right? And that is also an indirect expense. So here you will be reducing carriage outward and bad debt, right? So that is 17,500. And here we will reduce 12,000 rupees, right? So here 17,500 plus 12,000, 29,500. So here what is going to be the answer? Answer is going to be 2,500 rupees, right? Answer is going to be how much? It's going to be 2,500 rupees. Hopefully you understood this concept. Answer is going to be 2,500 rupees, right? If you see now question number 10, Mr. A invest rupees 10 lakh to start cloth business on 1st April 2011, right? During the year, he purchased goods of 7,10,000 and his sales for the year was 8,42,000, right? He pays shop rent for the financial year 2011-12, 20,000, and other expenses are of rupees 75,000. Find that he has goods worth rupees 45,000 in hands. What would be the gross profit? ये तो बकवास क्वेश्चन है, इसमें कुछ है ही नहीं, right? कितने का 10 लाख इन्वेस्ट था, सेल्स आपको दी हुई है 8,42,000. So 8,42,000 से सारे expenses minus करोगे 7,10,000, right? 20,000, 75,000, and उसके बाद आपके पास closing stock है. Closing stock add कर दोगे, you will get the answer here. That is 1,77,000, right? So I'm assuming you are not having problem in this question number 10, right? तो बहुत simple था. इसमें सारे expense minus करो, closing stock तो add हो जाता है ना? या फिर आप cost of material consume calculate कर लो, है ना? So cost of material consume कैसे calculate होगा? कॉस्ट ऑफ मटेरियल कंज्यूम बहुत सिंपल है ना? आप क्या करोगे कॉस्ट ऑफ मटेरियल कंज्यूम कैलकुलेट करने के लिए? परचेज माइनस क्लोजिंग स्टॉक कर लोगे और आपको सेम आंसर आ जाएगा. आपको यहाँ पे क्लोजिंग स्टॉक नहीं रखना पड़ेगा. सो परचेज कितने की है? सेलेक्ट 10,000 एंड क्लोजिंग स्टॉक इज ऑफ 45,000. सो कॉस्ट ऑफ मटेरियल कंज्यूम्ड इज गोइंग हाउ मच? 35,000 माइनस करोगे, सो इट इज गोइंग टू बी 6,65,000. द कॉस्ट ऑफ मटेरियल कंज्यूम, है ना? सो सेल्स इज गिवन 8,42,000 minus cost of material you can do 6,65,000, right? Minus you can you can subtract rent, that is 20,000, and you can subtract 75,000, right? And you will get the answer, that is 1,87,000. This is the alternative method to solve this question, right? Hopefully you understood. And see here question is asking you to calculate the profit at the year end. Rent is indirect. No. Rent, if you're paying it for factory, right? If you're paying it for factory or shop from where you are operating, it is going to be treated as a direct expense. ये आपको ग्रॉस प्रॉफिट बोल रहा है तो हम मान के चल रहे हैं ये डायरेक्ट एक्सपेंसेस है, राइट? अदर एक्सपेंस एंड रेंट ये डायरेक्ट एक्सपेंसेस हैं. अगर आप इनको इनडायरेक्ट एक्सपेंस मानोगे तो फिर आप इन्हें इंक्लूड करोगे, राइट? हाँ, दैट इज अ वैलिड क्वेश्चन, बट वी आर अज्यूमिंग इट इज अ इनडायरेक्ट एक्सपेंस. चलो, होपफुली यू अंडरस्टूड दिस कॉन्सेप्ट. चलो, नाउ वी विल सी द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. द फॉलोइंग इज रिफर्ड टू ट्रेडिंग. ये तो ऑलरेडी हमने ऐसा क्वेश्चन किया हुआ है, इसमें कुछ नहीं है, इसमें सॉल्यूशन दिया हुआ है. मैं शीट आपके साथ शेयर दूंगा, आप एक बार देख लीजिएगा. बाकी इसमें कोई ऐसा प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, राइट? Which of the following is a revenue expenditure, right? Which of the following is a revenue expenditure? Freight paid on purchase of plant and machinery. We have discussed now that director was traveling outside India and he paid 30,000 towards traveling expenses, towards purchase of machinery. So it is not a revenue expenditure, it is a capital expenditure. Legal expenses paid to acquire property, right? If you're paying legal expenses, to buy property, obviously it will be treated as a capital expenditure, है ना? प्रॉपर्टी करने के लिए अपने लॉयर को 10 लाख रुपए दे दिए, कोई केस चल रहा था, तो वो आपकी प्रॉपर्टी की वैल्यू में जोड़ा जाएगा, राइट? दैट अमाउंट यू विल बी इनटू द प्रॉपर्टी वैल्यू, राइट? एनुअल वाइट वॉश ऑफ द फैक्ट्री बिल्डिंग. वाइट वॉश का मतलब क्या है कि आपने पेंटिंग कराया है बिल्डिंग का, राइट? Now painting won't be helping you in generating the revenue, right? और usually painting क्या होती है, एक ईयर में वैनिश हो जाती है ना? So every year painting requires whitewash, right? So definitely it is going to be treated as a revenue expenditure, right? It won't increase the efficiency of business at all, right? Capital expenditure, obviously, which provides you benefit for more than 1 year, right? Which provides you benefit for more than 1 year, that will be considered as a capital expenditure, right? Heavy advertisement expenditure, deferred revenue expenditure मैं आपके साथ डिस्कस करूंगा. इस क्वेश्चन अभी होल्ड करता हूँ, राइट? इस क्वेश्चन को मैं होल्ड करता हूँ. डिफर्ड रेवेन्यू एक्सपेंडिचर में कमिंग सेशंस में आपके साथ डिस्कस करूंगा, है ना? Question number 15. A new machinery was purchased in Delhi and brought to Jaipur factory site for installation. The machine was damaged during transit and repair expenses were incurred, amounting 20,000. Such repair expenses would be considered as a capital expenditure, revenue expenses, deferred revenue expenditure, reserves. मैंने बोला था इंस्टॉलेशन से पहले जो भी खर्चे इंकर्ड होंगे उसे हम लोग कैपिटलाइज करेंगे, राइट? सो मशीन वाज डैमेज्ड ड्यूरिंग ट्रांजिट एंड रिपेयर एक्सपेंसेस वर इंकर्ड 20,000, राइट? सो दे वर ब्रिंगिंग दैट मशीनरी टू द साइट, राइट? एंड उस टाइम पे मशीनरी थोड़ा सा गिर गई और उसमें 20,000 का खर्चा आ गया. सो व्हाटएवर एक्सपेंसेस यू आर इंकरिंग बिफोर इंस्टॉलेशन ऑफ मशीनरी, दैट शुड बी कैपिटलाइज्ड, राइट? नाउ नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन इज so doubt Mangesh, just wait for 5 minutes. I will take you down. Wait for 5 minutes. I will take you down. 4 more questions are remaining. Let me do it, then I will take you down. A month is spent on increasing the sitting capacity in cinema hall, right? Let's suppose you are running a cinema hall, and there is sitting capacity of 100 people. There is sitting capacity of 100 people, right? Now you are increasing the sitting capacity by 100 more chairs, right? Now the sitting capacity of this theater is going to be 200. So what is the reason why you are increasing the sitting capacity? Because there is a demand of your theater in the market, right? More and more people, they are coming to theater to watch your movie, right? So obviously it is increasing your revenue, right? It is increasing your revenue, it is increasing your future economic benefit, and obviously you are increasing the chairs. If you are increasing the size of cinema, so it will be considered as a कैपिटल एक्सपेंडिचर. बिल्डिंग और कंस्ट्रक्ट कराओगे, चेयर्स और बाय करोगे, सो कैपिटल एक्सपेंडिचर है. आपने एडवांस टैक्स पे किया, एडवांस टैक्स तो करंट के लिए पे किया जाता है और वो 12 महीने से कम के ड्यूरेशन के लिए रहता है. सो दैट शुड बी कंसिडर्ड एज करंट एसेट, राइट? ऐसा क्वेश्चन हमने पिछले केस में किया था, तो ऐसा क्वेश्चन करने की जरूरत नहीं है. ये रिपीट हुआ है क्वेश्चन, राइट? ओपनिंग स्टॉक इंक्लूड व्हाट एंड ये भी क्वेश्चन आपका रेट हुआ है. सो 2-3 क्वेश्चंस रिपीट हुए हैं, तो आपको बोनस मार्क्स मिले होंगे, राइट? Now Mangesh, he has asked question. That is, which question Mangesh you have asked? Now I will allow you to speak. You can speak.